Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I am playing the Tier 10 Pan-European destroyer Holland. This this ship is very fun. I have had a really rough time getting wins in this ship for whatever reason. Another ship I had that problem with was Jean Bar, and there have been a few through the years, but this one has been one of those. I typically have pretty decent games, sometimes really good games. It's a ship that, at least in my opinion, is very hard to carry a team with unless certain very specific things happen during the course of the game. The torpedoes just don't hit hard enough to be the kind of obliterating weapon system that, say, Shimakaze torps might be, or even gearing. But they are still very fun because the torpedoes move basically at the speed of light, and and they're really hard to dodge. So it creates a lot of opportunities for flooding and area denial, and it's just fun. Now the guns on this ship are, well, they're 120s. You've got a total of 4 barrels, 2 barrels in each of 2 turrets, one fore, one aft. The base reload time is really short. The base reload time is 2 seconds. So you can put a lot of shells downrange, which, as you can see on the minimap, is not very far. The red circle around the ship, 10.5 kilometers is the range. HE shells do a maximum of 1,750 damage as I throw some torpedoes out in an area that I know usually you'll have ships traversing in the hope that maybe I'll catch somebody there, maybe you're not even seen. So the max HE shell damage is 1,750 with an 8% base fire chance, and the max AP damage, 2,100, although these shells don't have the penetration to be able to do a whole heck of a lot unless you got something flat broadside and you're firing into the superstructure. Now the torpedoes, you've got 2 racks of torpedoes, 5 torpedoes in each rack, so you get 10 that you're going to be able to drop down range. The reload time base is 100 seconds, and the max damage per torpedo is only 10,700. But the base speed on these torpedoes is 86 knots, and they have a 15-kilometer range. And you can see I'm working to secure this cap. My hope was that that the enemy team would just leave it, and at least so far, that's what's happened. I'm pushing up as far as I can here because sometimes you'll get torpedoes that come through that gap that you're looking at, and they can catch you sitting here. So I'm just trying to get out of the way of those, and then directly south of my ship, you can see the Kagero is also in the cap with me. That helps speed it up, and we are able to secure the Bravo cap. Now the bad guys are about to secure Charlie. They've got Grossevoy and Druid there. That's a whole lot of gun power. And over there we've got Eger, Mr. Shimmy, and De Grosse, which is a division, and they're doing all they can to stay alive. They've got Ohio out there, and then the 2 destroyers right in front of them. Druid can smoke up, Grossevoy can spot, and Druid can put just a ton of shells out. Okay, so back to the Halland. It's kind of known for its AAA, but as you can see, the matchmaking in this game, there's no CV, so yay. Because even though this ship does have decent AA, which, it's one of the handful in the game really that do, it's still a huge detriment when you are forced to maneuver to try and stay out of sight of aircraft, or if you are going to push center and try and shoot down a whole bunch of planes, you're going to be constantly spotted. And even though this ship has heals, you don't have a lot of HP. So if the red team focuses you for any length of time or over the course of the game multiple times, very often you'll end up getting sunk. So generally speaking, I think it's probably smart to play this ship conservatively. If you've watched my videos at all, you've heard me say over and over, engine boost activated. Just try and stay alive. Because once you're out of the game, there's nothing you can do to help the team. As long as you're still alive, you have opportunities. That doesn't mean stay in your spawn, but it does mean that, kind of in general, don't don't well, the term that's often used is YOLO. Don't throw your ship away for a big adrenaline rush that may not help the team at all. Now, why am I sitting here? I want to see what the Massachusetts is going to do. It looks like Kremlin is reversing, but I'm thinking I need to get some torpedoes out that way in case he keeps his nose sticking out there. I got to watch Stalingrad, which is why I was slowing down here. I don't want to get within radar range if I can help it. Yeah, Kremlin is slowing down. Maybe the torpedoes are fast enough to get there. I kind of doubt it. I think he's going to reverse out of the way, but they move really fast, and if he doesn't keep it in reverse, maybe I catch him with one. I'm going to throw some out there for Bismarck. Now, even if these torpedoes don't connect, they represent a threat, and the players that see those torpedoes will be wary of pushing forward. Not always, but often. So the bad guys are now down 2 ships, Rune and Tashkent, and we have lost our Druid. Bismarck is turning. My torpedoes are going to be wide of the mark by a good margin. Now, the bad guys have secured Charlie. We've got Eger de Grosse and Neustrashimi, our division, and they've got Kansas there as well. So we've got 4 ships up there. The bad guys have 5, and the bad guys have a lot more DD threat. Now, Neustrashimi, if you've watched my videos at all, I love that ship, and it is a really well-rounded destroyer. It is, in my opinion, kind of a Tier 9 Grosserboy. But, yeah, I had to shut off the AA before I got myself spotted. But, against a Druid and a Grosserboy, backed up by, well, actually there's Ohio, Ibuki, Jambar. It's no wonder that our guys over there are falling back. They've already lost the cap. There's no sense throwing their ship away, and they're doing a good job. Now, there's at least one player on the team who, at least in my opinion, maybe isn't thinking from the 10,000 foot view, that loses their ship and gets a little hot under the collar at those guys. But I think they did the right thing falling back. Did get a flood on Bismarck, and I was hoping somebody might capitalize on with HE. Now, as it stands, both teams have a cap. We have a little over 100-point lead. Our guys are doing all they can not to throw their ships away, which is great, and the red team is doing the same. This is a very good game. And you can see I've put 2 torpedoes on the Bismarck, and I got a solo cap. So I'm sitting 8 minutes in with 16,000 damage. But especially with the destroyer, especially one that is kind of torpedo reliant, it's okay. If you're playing this type of ship and you find yourself not having done much, don't fall into the trap of feeling like, okay, I got to do something, and rush in and try and torp something at point blank range as the enemy Stalingrad takes out our Veneto. And this is the guy that gets a little hot under the collar. I'm going to try and throw some torpedoes through that gap. I know that some are going to hit the island. But if Massachusetts gets hit and floods, it might create an opportunity for the Kagero that's there kind of just ahead of him. And my guess is that Kagero, having sat there as long as he did, is in big trouble. And you can see he's got Ibuki, Jambar, Druid, and now Massachusetts. So our Kagero, he's not going to survive long, and down he goes. I think he should have fallen back much sooner. You can see where he was sunk there on the map. And I think if Neustrashimi, de Grosse, Eger, and Kansas had held their positions, they probably would have been in big trouble as well. Ohio was flanking. And I do manage to put some torpedoes on the Massachusetts. Now I'm hoping somebody's going to take advantage of that by getting HE on the Massachusetts. But we'll see. He's still flooding. Might be able to finish him off just with that. Looks like I will. All right. So we held Bravo for the time being, the Kagero and myself. Now we got to finish up this Shenyang and see what we can do to stop these guys. So, just like that. I mean, it's not going to be winning me any awards or accolades, but it went from very, very little damage to 57,000 more or less, and that's just from staying alive. Now I got radared, so I'm just checking right now, just taking a look around. Is anybody shooting at me? No, they're focused on the Yamato. Doesn't mean they won't shoot at me. So I've got speed boost going. You can see some of these secondaries are starting to plink and plunk around me. And the Massachusetts at Iceland says, I knew there was something missing, just as far as what he was keeping track of. And this is a great thing when you're playing a destroyer, a torpedo reliant destroyer. When you get battleships in between a gap like that, you're almost guaranteed some hits if you're careful with how where you put the torpedoes. And I just landed a whole bunch, and you can see that my Jersey Swirsky Commander procced, which helps the torpedo reload. Now I know Stalingrad's going to have radar back up here before long, but there's our Kagero, who was also sunk. A little hot under the collar about our group that ran from sea. Now Newsperson is still doing what he can. I mean, to his credit, he's really outgunned, and he's doing everything he can. And the torpedoes are back up, so I'm going to try again. My focus there is to take out the Kremlin. You can see our Johan de Witt. He's actually doing a great job. I had a really good game here, but I think he topped the scoreboard. I think I was second. He did a fantastic job from that position. Bismarck is moving outside of my torpedoes, but Kremlin, he's still right there. And there's the Veneto adding his 2 cents worth. I do manage to finish off the Kremlin, and I'm going to go ahead and get the guns working here, I think. To make sure there's nothing over there that's going to blap me. And Bismarck, he's definitely going to be gone, and there he goes. I wasn't in range of anybody else, so I immediately go dark. Now I have to try and do what I can in the center. Because right now the bad guys have 2 caps. We've only got 1. It's going to be really difficult for the Stalingrad to do much at Alpha. He's probably going to fall back, so I'm expecting he's going to run back along the eye line, run east, kind of back toward where you see the Ibuki there. He'll probably cross behind the island, but we'll see. But he's not going to face off against, Des Moines, de Witt, or is he? You just never know. This is World of Warships. As our Thunderer, you can see the edge of a smoke cloud just around the edge of the island there, and our Thunderer was just sailing broadside to the smoke cloud, which is, well, if it were the Druid, it wouldn't be a big deal, but we can see on the minimap it was the Gros Savoy, and he just misplayed. And Kagero is still going on about these guys that fell back from Charlie. Really should just go back to port, play another game. Now Jean Bar, he's going to fall back here, which is, it's not too surprising. He doesn't want to get blapped. But I've got a little bit of time. I'm just going to move far enough north to not be detected. I also want to be in a position where I can angle if the Gros Savoy pushes this way. And I'm kind of wondering if he won't, because he might want to get torpedoes on the Kansas. Now, Grosse, he's way back there. I'd really like to see him get a little bit closer. But he's still in the game, and he's still got a lot of HP. Now, I see Jean Bar is starting to move forward, so this is my opportunity. I want to try and catch him right here at this corner. Usually that's where people are going to be making changes to their course and speed, is at the corners, so I'll just flood that area. Oh, Kagero. And you can see Jean Bar is starting to turn. It's going to slow him down. It's going to keep him right there for all my torpedoes. And I get my torpedoes reloading even faster now. Yeah, that definitely surprised the Jean Bar player.
All stations, concentrate fire on that target.
We can see where the Grosavoy is. And so he didn't come this way to try and get Kansas. He went back the other way, anticipating our Nostroshemi heading into the Charlie Cap. Now, I'm hoping Nostroshemi is going to be able to handle taking on the Grosavoy, but that's not an easy fight. Not an easy fight at all. But right now, we've got the advantage. We have more ships, for sure. And I think our positioning is pretty good. But this is far from over. Now, I'm going to try and force Ohio out of this cap. He's turning in a little bit. I'm just going to hold on and see if that's still going to happen. Because if he keeps going that way, there's no way my torp's going to be able to hit him if he runs through the gap there. But if he heads east and south, then maybe I might be able to catch him. I can't imagine he's just going to sit there. So I'm just going to wait, see what he does. And you can see that there was a trade over at Charlie. So they still hold the cap. He's going to run that way, so I'm going to put the torpedoes out there. We're down to 4 minutes. Good guys. We've got twice as many ships now, but they've got the caps, so we're going to have to make something happen here. I'm going to try and get Bravo. And that's going to require getting rid of the Ohio, because he's going to be defending that cap with his ship, for sure. Ohio gets a shot across on the Des Moines, and suddenly the point spread is significantly different. I'm just hoping to land at least one and get a flood here, and that's exactly what happens. I do get single flood. And if he repairs, and I'm able to get another one, I might be able to sink him that way. But my goal is going to be, because look at that torpedo reload. It's so short right now. My goal here is going to be just flat out sink him. 9 seconds. DeGrosse has moved in. Kansas is currently behind an island, but I think he still has at least a little bit of an angle on Ohio. I expect Ohio's going to turn in. I'm going to try and get behind this island here. While staying in the cap, and then I'm going to angle toward the Charlie cap. Because we're down, 170 points. So I'm hoping that I can finish off the Ohio. Yep, that flood is going to take care of him. Now I've got to secure this cap. Now, I debated here. Do I cross, get behind Ibuki, and try to keep him spotted? Is he just going to run south? And I opt to stay here, where I could head south if I want to. I have to get around this island, of course, to keep him spotted. But if he keeps firing, he's going to do that job for me. And if he comes out this way, I'll have some little presents for him. It looks like he's turning back the other way. 16 seconds till I have this cap secure. And that's just in case he does head this way. Right now, he's really pinched. We've got DeGrosse on one side, Kansas on the other. And he knows I'm here or somewhere in this area. So I've got the cap. Now, I think I made a little bit of a misplay here, honestly. I think I probably should have gone the direction that we're looking right now to keep Ibuki spotted, because he's not spotted right now, which means he's not firing. With only a minute left, it's debatable whether we could have caught up with him on points. But see, there he is now. He's spotted. And I'm headed for the Charlie cap, thinking maybe I stopped their points. So now I have to count on Kansas and the DeGrosse. And our Kagero offers me a good game, which I appreciate. Thanks, brother. Having come this way, I'm 100% dependent upon DeGrosse and Kansas to finish off the Ibuki. DeGrosse is just about out of HP. We're just about out of time. And if Ibuki is able to finish off the DeGrosse, we lose. 30 seconds to go. you haven't already, I hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.